This one goes out to Leah.
Fred, what are you doing over there?
Now, Fred, be careful under there. That hood has a tendency to fall once in a while. Oh my God, Fred, are you all right?
Well, I've seen a picture of you last Saturday night.
Boys, we don't care about a little flake in paint. Never hurts a thing. This car will run down the road just fine for $49.95.95.
Didn't know it was you, but you're looking alright. I didn't understand it, but I wanted you to know. Where did you come from, baby? Where did you go when, baby?
Well, hey, if you don't like fixing things and making them just like brand used, this channel may not be for you. Hi, and welcome to RCindustry. We're back today making things just like brand used, baby. Today, we're going to work on the '79 Chrysler 300. This car is a really pretty cool car. However, a lot of things don't work on it. If you've been watching the series, you know we've had gas leaks, we've had carburetor problems, all that good stuff. So what we've been doing is ripping out all this stuff under the hood that we don't need. Now, as I've said before, we are keeping all of the parts we're taking off of this. Most of it's just Cordoba, B-body kind of stuff. Haven't really come across anything that's actually 300 specific that we're taking off. But we're going to save all the parts we take off of this, because when we give it a new home, I'm going to send all that stuff with the new owner. And who knows, maybe somebody might want to restore this vehicle, but I'm just going to get it running and have some fun with it. So let's get started today. What I really want to do today is get this air compressor off, or the refrigerant compressor, whatever you want to call it. And in doing so, I've got to take all the bracketry loose for the alternator and for the power steering pump. And I also want to take off the smog pump down there, because we're going to do a big smog delete here. So, and we've already got the carburetor off of here. As you remember from the earlier episode when we power washed this, you know, I took some tape and taped over the intake manifold. And I think what I want to do too is I want to take this, the surprise that goes in this area that we bought has an electric option instead of this option here. So what I want to do is take this out of this manifold and see if we can put it in the old war wagon. So that's kind of the idea there. So I want to try to take that out and remove that. And we got to take the old, once we get all this kind of out of here where we can see the engine a little bit, I want to roll it up on top dead center, and we're going to take that lightning whirler, as Derek would call it, that distributor, lightning shooter outer thingy, that's all going to come off. We're going to take the coil off, because I've got a one-wire HEI unit that's going to go in here. So, with that said, let's get busy and start taking this apart. Show you more. Oh my gosh, that thing is heavy. Man! Well, that just gained us 15 horsepower there, baby. Son of a buck.
Well, horse shit, little Eva.
Oh my God. Oh God. Man. Okay, well, as you can see, I got a lot of this stuff out of the way. Now, I think I'm going to be able to make a bushing to go here and hold into this head and steady this. So I think I can handle that. I may have to take and make a bracket from here up to it. But what I've got to do is get a belt, and I think I have found one that will go on that pulley and come over to here. And I've only got one belt right now, but I want to see if that's the right size. The problem is I got to get this pulley off the way, because on the other one it ran up from over here and up across and across. So this, you know, was on around the water pump. Now I've got to go on this edge of it, which it should clear, but my problem is this pulley has only got like, you know, a 1/16 of, or maybe an 1/8 of an inch before it rubs the bottom pulley. So anyway, and I got to have the bottom pulley for this groove, because this is the groove, sorry about that, that my water, or that my power steering pump goes on. And you know, we got to have some power steering for the crusty Chrysler. I ain't manhandling that thing. Anyway, so that's kind of what we got going on here. So let me pull this off and see if that belt's practically the right size, and if it is, or basically the right size, then I will see if I can get a bracket between here and there, and we should be good to go on that part. Then we'll start working back in here. Alright, show you more. Okay, well, what I found out is that, I better turn that music down, is that this belt that I had is the right size. You know, it's basically a 1/2 inch. It's probably got some metric, you know, measurement. But anyway, but it was about this much too long. Wound up being about 3 inches when I took my wife's sewing, you know, measuring thing. Don't tell her that. But it was like basically 3 inches. So went down to O'Reilly's, and I was glad the old guys was in there, because they know how to look things up and without, you know, saying, hey, this is a Chrysler 300, because, you know, this ain't the right belt off of it. So we wound up with these dukers here. So I'm going to get these on there and see if this is the right size. We may have to go back and tweak it. You know, it may be a 1/2 inch too long, because these are like, this wound up being 3 inches, 3 7/16 inches shorter than this belt. So let's see what happens. Okay, well, we got these set up on here and got them adjusted. So we only used one belt, and let me just show you why. As we talked about, the belt used to come up on the other side of this water pump, up across the air conditioning pulley, and then down to this, and that's why it has a double pulley. So I bought 2 belts, but if you put the belt back here on this pulley, you'll see right there that it rubs on the water, on the housing of the water pump. So I've just got one on there. It looks like it's pretty good in line. We might have to tweak it a little bit by moving the alternator around. Of course, once you change all the brackets, then I don't have, you know, I need to get me a piece of 1/2 inch pipe or 3/8 pipe or whatever, and nipple and cut in here and make me an actual support. And I had to do the same thing back here with some nuts. But it's working. It's in there and it's tight. So I think this will work, you know, for us to get it running anyway. So what I want to do now is focus on this mess back here, because we have got to get this out of here. This is goes down to the manifolds. They used to be a diverter valve here. I took that off already, and I just hooked this like this for now, but I'm going to take this on and off, and we're going to have to get down here, and I'll probably just cut this and braze that shut. I don't know where I can get to the one on the other side yet. I'm not over there, so because otherwise the manifold gas, if you correct me if I'm wrong with a comment, but I'm pretty sure the manifold gas will come back up through here, especially if I cut off this check valve. So, but I'm not. Yeah, I'd like to put headers and all that kind of stuff on it, but I'm not. I don't have the money for that. So, anyway, so I'm going to get that done. I want to get this coil off of here. I'm going to go ahead and take all the wires and everything off, and unhook the distributor. But before I put it on, before I pull the distributor, I want to get it up on number 1 top dead center, so I know where that's at. And then some of this wiring harness stuff here that was for the lean burn, I'm just going to try to delete and probably tie it back and run it over here and get it down in this way somewhere in case someone would ever, for whatever reason, want to use that. But who knows? So anyway, all right, I'm going to work on this. I'll show you more. Okay, I got some of this done back here like I was talking about, and I happened to look down at this alternator, and I realized that when I tightened it up, it kind of brought it this way. It's because there's nothing between here and here anymore. There used to be a bracket when the air conditioning compressor was sitting here, and then it had this bracket on the back side that held the back side of the compressor. So lo and behold, because the bolts on the back are in the same position as the bolts on the front were, this bracket is just perfect for right here. Other than it's got this other mounting piece right here. So I'm going to take and I'm going to grind that off, or cut that off and grind it down smooth. And I'm going to install that here, and then that'll take care of this alternator wanting to pull this way when you tighten it down. Alright, show you more. Okay, so you can see here that I took that bracket, and once we got it on there, then I realized it needed to have this little bend in it to kind of push it over. And now we got the same distance between here and here and here and here. So I don't think it's trying to pull that way when we get it tight. So anyway, that's what I think. You can comment down below and tell me different. Okay, so we've got all this out of here except for the distributor, so I didn't want to take that out just yet. So what I'm going to do is kind of clean this up a little bit, because I have got some foo-foo to spray on there. Because, it's pretty nice and clean and blue down here, but this is all, it just needs a little attention. So I'm going to take and clean that up and blow it off with the air hose, and maybe we'll put a little foo-foo can on there and get that taken care of. Alright, show you more. Well guys, as you can see, I basically just did a rebuild on this. So, took a little foo-foo can there and, did the right thing, as Derek would say. I'm sorry, I've been watching some of his shows and I can't, his phrases, I don't, they're not mine, so, but it's just funny. But anyway, I did, spray a little of that off. I at least took the dirt off of it, but I don't want it to necessarily look brand new. I'm trying to make it look brand used here. But it was so corroded or whatever. I mean, well, first of all, with all the junk on there, you couldn't even see the engine. So anyway, before we go too much further, I do want to get back in here, and I bought a new oil pressure gauge instead of the electric gauge that's in it. So I want to take that out and put my fitting in for my gauge. And like I said, we're going to bring it up on top dead center so we can drop our new distributor in. And up here, I'm going to pop this out, because I think that one is the one that's in the water jacket. And I'm going to put in a actual temp gauge unit that I bought. So we'll have a more of an accurate temp gauge and an accurate fuel gauge, or oil gauge. I think that's kind of important in my book. So anyway, this is where we're at right now. So I think I'm going to call it quits for today. So with that being said, I think I would like to thank all of you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, reach up there and hit that subscribe button. And, ring that bell. That does something. It tells you, I think, when the next something, comes up. So anyway, Thanks for coming along. And as always, we're making it like brand used here, baby.